Hello and welcome to Arsenal Above All. Arsenal safely through to the quarterfinals of the Champions League following a regulation win over BAYER Leverkusen. I've got Brian Haley with me tonight. Brian, how you doing, my friend?
I'm good, Mike. Yep, nice routine. Last 16 win. Yeah, looking forward to discussing.
Okay, right. Give me 2 seconds. I think I've got a problem with my sound, so let me just come in and come back out again. Give me 2 seconds. Let me see if that works. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? I don't know what's going on with my sound tonight. Bear with me. Let me just deal with the settings. I don't know what my computer's doing. Decided to do that to me tonight. Can you hear me now, Brian?
I can still hear you, Mike.
No, you still can't hear me. What the hell is going on there tonight? Bear with me. What else can I do? Let me have a look. Okay, that's working. Bear with me, Brian. Let me. Can you hear me now?
I can still hear you, Mike.
Yeah, you can hear me, but I can't hear you for some reason. Yeah. I don't know what's going on with my sounds. Let me try again. Let me see what's going on with my sound tonight. I think it's really annoying because shouldn't be doing this at all. Everything's showing up as it is. Fine. Speakers are fine. Bear with me. What the hell is going on here tonight? Okay. Right. So I can't hear you. I can't hear you, but you can hear me.
Yeah.
What the hell? Right. Okay. Right. Hang on. Let me take myself out again. I'll take you out. I'll take myself out, and then we go back in again. Let me just see if I can fix this. All right, let's see if we can try again. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I can hear you. Okay, all right, great. Okay, I don't know what the hell happened there. When the intro was coming in, I heard a little crackle, like the speakers just dropped off or something. So I don't know what the hell happened. But anyway, bit Spursy start to the plot to the show. Sorry about that. Thanks for joining us tonight. Arsenal safely through. Sorry, Brian, I didn't hear what you said, man. So Can you just repeat?
No worries. No worries. No, it's just as I said, Mike. It's good to discuss a routine win tonight. With an opportunity, to get us to getting into the quarterfinals.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Obviously, we know what happened last week. It was quite tricky. They got a quite fortunate set piece, which they worked off pretty well. And apart from that, and apart from a wonder save from David Raya, late in the second half tonight, that was probably all that they had. Really, we sort of had a bit of arm's length. But yes, thanks, Brian. Let's before we bring up the slides, let's go into the chat. We've got Neil here. He's very happy, Neil. Yes, for his quad. Life is good. Life is red and white. Absolutely. He wants to see us smile. Yes, absolutely. And he's saying my sound is an echo at the moment, but hopefully it's all right. If it sounds okay, let me know, Neil. Take it out and push it in. Someone else has said that to me. She's on the way home, so I don't know what will happen tonight. Probably be a bit too late for that. But anyway, let's get into it, man. Arsenal 2-0 win over BAYER Leverkusen. We will end up playing Sporting Lisbon, so it'll be a return home for Victor Gyökeres. So it could be an interesting one. Obviously, after the summer that he had and the way that they sort of treated him, I think he's going to be very. You probably saw it in his performance tonight. He's very fired up. I don't think I've seen him defending and chasing down like that. I thought he had a really good game, and I'm sure he can't wait for that. To show up against them. Obviously, he would have been playing against a few of those guys in training, and they know what his record is. So I can't imagine they'll be happy facing him in a few weeks' time. But what was your thoughts, Brian, on the lineup? Let's get to that first. Obviously, some changes. yeah, we are going to discuss. We are going to have a cup final preview tomorrow night. Hopefully you can join us with that. But what was your thoughts on the lineup tonight, and especially the inclusion of Ben White?
I think it was kind of inevitable. I think, Mike. I think with the two games coming back to back relatively quickly, that rotation, and getting minutes in the legs for someone like Ben White as well, um, with Sunday approaching, I think was needed. Um, you know, I did generally think that yes, it was going to be a bit of a test tonight, but to be honest with you, I think it was a good opportunity, should we say, for the likes of Ben White to get the minutes in tonight. Um, I suppose I was slightly surprised with the Trossard one, but again, it's probably another one where he was getting the minutes in as well.
Yeah,
Other than that, it was the usual suspects, to be honest with you, and to be expected really to get us over the line, and then make the significant changes which he did during the course of the evening at the end anyway. So it wasn't too many surprises on there.
yeah, I thought it was going to be. I thought maybe on the left hand side you probably would have had one of Martinelli or Madueke, but again, he's got such a deep squad, and the rotations he can do, and obviously looking ahead to Sunday as well. I think he's looking maybe one step, two steps ahead. Let's say he says he's looking at the next game, but I think he's looking at a couple of games ahead, really. Obviously, knowing that we've got the international break to come after that as well. But yeah, I thought it was nice to see Ben White back. I thought it would have unlocked Saka a little bit, who I think struggled again a little bit tonight. He seemed like he tried to force it a few times, but he definitely had a better game than he had last week, which I think last week was probably the worst game that he's ever had in an Arsenal shirt that I can remember. Really, really poor. But I thought that Ben White's inclusion was very good. In terms of making us a bit more. He was doing his usual stuff over the overlaps as well, playing some nice balls through. So that made us a bit more, a bit more solid or a bit more open in terms of the attacking side. Whereas Timber seems to be getting in people's way a little bit.
Yeah.
The way he plays.
Yeah.
Ben White seems to know where to be and where not to get into people's on people's feet. But no, it was good to see him back as well, because obviously he didn't play at all at the weekend. Mosquera came on at right back, in the second half against Everton. Sorry for Timber, and people were thinking, what's going on there? But the fact that he came in and played, a good game, had some good minutes, bodes well. Hopefully, for the rest of the games we've got to play, because obviously, we're still playing for all the marbles. With City's result tonight, their dreams of a quad is over. It may be even more so, in terms of the treble will be over, hopefully on Sunday if we do the business, but we'll obviously talk about that. But talk about this gentleman, shall we? The day before yesterday, he was saying, pretty much set it up, where he says, lock in or get locked out, and big talk, and wow, my words. Yeah. I mean, what can you say about that goal? That's proper old-fashioned. I mean, before we get to that, I mean, the keeper, Brian, obviously, as being a keeper yourself, you kind of thought it was going to be one of those nights where a keeper comes up.
God, yeah.
All of a sudden turns into prime Manuel Neuer and David De Gea and, all that stuff put together, pulling off some incredible saves. And but then he was going to take something special to beat him. And bloody hell, what was that from Eze tonight?
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Mike. When watching it, I was thinking, damn, this is going to be one of those nights tonight, isn't it? It really is. The keeper's going to have a complete and utter worldie, and it's just. But as you said, it took something very, very special, and I think what we've got to look at now is that he's playing himself into form. I think the expectation of Eze when he first came was he's going to hit the ground running. We're going to see these spectacular goals basically week in, week out. And the tricks and everything, and it just wasn't going to be that case. I think he had to get time to get into the Arsenal way, back into the Arsenal way, should we say?
Yeah.
and work his way into it. And the time out of the side has obviously shown that performances, the back-to-back performances that he's had recently, the injury to Odegaard as well, has allowed him to, to free himself a bit to play now. And that's, and I think in games like tonight, and games to come, that's the kind of Eze we're going to need, who will be able to change and win a game for us when it's tight. They do something unexpected, out of the ordinary, and that's what will win us a few football matches, I think, along the way. So I'm pleased for him anyway, and the celebration that shows me more than anything else is that how locked in he really is, and the rest of the team should be.
Absolutely. I think when we lost to Bayern Munich in the Champions League, and I think you remember that performance, especially away from home, where we did a lot of good work, but then when we got up to the final third, there was just nothing there. There was just something, didn't seem to be any belief. There didn't seem to be any goal for it. And I think it was the Athletic. They had one of their articles where they get some information from the insiders and stuff like that, and about what the discussions have been, where they fell down, and the general consensus was that Arsenal needs something in the final third, someone with an X factor, someone that will make a difference in the crunch, time of the season, the business end of the season, where they will do something from the edge of the box, where they will take a shot on, where they will take a man on and just open the game up. And we saw that tonight. That's what Eze has done. That's what he's done for the last couple of seasons, really. People have been saying, look at his form in the running when it gets to the last, springtime onwards. The guy sort of just, turns into someone else, and he's doing that, and he's showing that in his performance. And as you said, absolutely. The fact that Odegaard is out, it seems to have given him obviously more playing time and more bedding in, and he's creating little networks with Gyökeres. I think definitely he's definitely doing that with Saka as well. He's definitely got used to that position now, playing in that way that Arteta is expecting him to do. And I think there's a good interview with him as well, I think, at the London Football Awards, where he had a chat and he was saying about how everything is designed, about the system and the way people prepare and everything else. It was a different level to Palace, and obviously that's no disrespect to Palace, but it's just how it is at Arsenal, and it's obviously taking time to do that. And you can see him do that now, and long may it continue, man. If he's doing stuff like that, he's another goal threat. He's another option for us. Someone else for people to worry about now, because he's actually producing in that position. And then hopefully you want in Saka to sort of return to form. So then that just gives everybody another option. And obviously Gyökeres is doing what he's doing as well. So it's all boding well, really. But fantastic goal. I mean, I don't know about you, but the last couple of days I've been hungover with Arsenal content. I've literally I've watched so much of it. I watched, watching Max's goal over and over again, even Gyökeres' goal, and just getting the vibe of it. And we're going to be watching that goal over and over again, his goal, which again, it was just ridiculous. The power that he managed to get from that, absolutely unreal. He's always had that, but it's just that was ridiculous. And as Neil says, he's your new Sanchez, game changer, match winner. Maybe, and I think he's definitely got that in his life.
Yeah, I think also the slight tweak to the system. It's coming up as a 4-2-3-1 rather than a 4-3-3. I suppose the principles upon what it is relatively the same, but I think the difference is that you are actually allowing Eze to play that 10 just effectively off Gyökeres in that sense, but be able to still roam and create and defend and get forward and make things happen. So he's got that kind of that aspect that they've allowed him in some respects. He's probably had to earn the right, to be honest with you. He's had to earn that right of having to play into his strengths rather than the strengths of the team in that sense. So we're now getting the benefits of that. Now it also allows us to have that change of system where we want to. If he's not available to play, we can potentially revert to type, or we can actually possibly put a Havertz in at 10 instead. But we can change it. We can now be a little bit more adaptable than what we have had, where we've been very, very rigid 4-3-3. You know, we see, you know, Declan Rice as the left 8. You know, Odegaard on the right of the three, and kind of doing it. You know, we've now got a bit more structure, and I think, you know what, like, I think that's probably helped us even more defensively, because it's made Zubimendi and Rice more attuned to their defensive duties just as much.
Yeah, absolutely. Just really like pleased that he's finally settled, because we all know that he's got the ability. You know, he's got the you know, the talent. You know, to make a massive difference to us. And obviously there was a lot of worries about, you know, he's going to play off the left and everything. But yeah, if he's going to keep doing what he's done tonight, and not just the goal, but his general performance.
Yeah.
That was running with the ball, just opening up. He's just fantastic, and I just hope that he looked like he picked up a little bit of an injury at the end. I think it was cramp. He said that in his interview that he's fine. You know, there's nothing wrong. You know, there's nothing wrong. So, you know, fingers crossed it was just basically cramp. You know, obviously they've again another heavy schedule. Obviously, had a game at the weekend as well, the game midweek. So, and a number of games, and obviously you've got the international break as well to come. So, obviously the final. So, hopefully it was just him just making sure he didn't do anything silly. He wanted to come off, and he did so. But yeah, so then we had obviously Mr. Declan Rice, who seems to love doing you know, curling the ball in like he did in the last 16 game. But he did it. He did it again. You know, with obviously the same celebration as well. I noticed that he did against Madrid. Where he's, you know, he pointed down and then he did the slide and everything. So he sort of he's very on brand. He's right. He's Declan. You know, he knows what the media boys will be pumping out for content. You know, I'm sure they'll be doing words back to back. Same, you know, one top screen and bottom screen, and he'll be doing the same thing. But what you say about his performance tonight again, Bri? He's been on Mr. Consistent all season. I'd say, along with the likes of Gabriel, David Raya. You know, they've had a couple of brain farts, what here or there, those two, and even Rice as well, obviously the North London derby. But this talk of Bruno Fernandes getting maybe the player of the year, and you know, because he's had a good 10 games, I think, under Carrick and everything. And
my God.
Yeah, the Man United tax. But what's your thoughts on his performance tonight, Brian, and just how immense he was? He was just a different level again.
Yeah, it's another immense European performance, isn't it? At the end of the day, and I think it's becoming the result was routine, but his performance was just as routine. You know, it's ultimately what we expect from him in this type of environment. You know, the experience that he's got of kind of winning a European trophy. He obviously enjoys those kind of nights, and even the bigger nights now. And I think that desire from, you know, last season's semi-final defeat is still probably really biting at this moment.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's a kind of by hook by crook in some respects we get there now, and he's going to be fundamental to that, and he will be ultimately the driver of us getting, you know, potentially, and you know, I'm not, you know, expecting us the expectations at this moment in time, but he will be driving us to get to the final. You know, and yeah, we're kind of at least another 4 games away, but you know, you cannot be saying to me he has not got his eye on that. He hasn't got his eye on. He's got his eye on getting to a Champions League final just to cap it. To cap it all off for him. You know what I mean? And the team. I think he's driving the team forward. Look, I think let's get this straight. I think we're at the business end of the season now, Mike, and I think the realities are dawning on the players that were there, and it is by any means necessary results at this moment.
Yeah.
And it's probably been said on your pod and on many others people's pods as well, is that it is any by any means necessary now, and I think the players understand that and realise that, and that is and understand it even more because of the fact that we're still in 4 competitions. I think it'd have been a lot different if we'd probably been knocked out of a couple. May have been, we might have seen that kind of levels of that the pressures may have setting a little bit, but I think by playing every 3 days at this moment, I think it's actually good for them. And the size of squad that we have, I think it's good. Where with most sides would say, no, I think it's actually good for us. It's that concentration levels. It's that really that, and again, that's the desire. If you've got niggles and tweaks and stuff like that, you still want to be playing.
Yeah.
You still want to be playing.
Yeah.
You still want to be playing in those games. And those niggles and tweaks will, you'll get over those niggles and tweaks because someone else is actually there to take your place if not.
Yeah.
And that's, so that's the driver. But Declan basically, is being stand out. And I think nights like tonight and the nights to come in Europe are kind of made for him, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think you're right. Him playing, everyone playing every 3 days, as long as the key thing obviously is the fitness. I mean, at the moment, what we've got, Marino and Odegaard are the ones top of my head that are out really injured long. Obviously, Trossard's just come back, but I think you're right. As long as they're fit and he's got a chance to include people and rotate a little bit, they'll be happy and keep ticking along. So I think if we had 6 or 7 players out, then you're kind of thinking, oh gosh, we're going to be in big problems there. But the fact that we've got the majority of the squad's fit, and hopefully Odegaard will be fit after the international break, then it just all bodes well for that final sort of running the games that we've got. Because I think after I think when we resume in the league, I think we've got Bournemouth.
Yeah.
Is it early one? Is it 12:30? I think it is, which is kind of crazy. And then obviously I think City playing later, so it's like okay, you're resuming, but it's quite early, so you've got people going to be flying in or whatever from wherever they are as well. And obviously we've got. Let me have a look. Let me just have a quick look because I think let me just see what the fixtures are because I think it's a bit all over the place now. So yeah, we've got we've got Southampton obviously in the cup, and then we've got So the one only good thing is that we've got you can say a good thing because they're going to be a tricky side. We know what we're going to get against Sporting because we played them obviously a couple of seasons ago, didn't we? In the Europa when they did us on penalties, but. What you kind of think if you're travelling from Portugal rather from where those guys are in the Arctic, it's going to be a bit easier in terms of travelling. So that plays into our hands a little bit as well. So you're kind of thinking, well, we've got Southampton on the 4th when everything resumes, and then we've got Sporting away. It's either going to be on the 7th or the 8th of April, and then we've got Bournemouth on the 11th, Saturday the 11th at 12:30. So then you're kind of thinking, okay, well, you take Sporting away rather than going all the way to Burnley, and travelling the following day, whenever that would have been played. So that's kind of worked a little bit in our favour, so the commute won't be that bad. But yeah, and I think because it's an early kickoff as well, that's going to be a bit tricky because we know what Bournemouth are like. They're pretty much the only one of the few teams in the Premier League that are on the front foot and they will just play full gas. They're not into this low block business. They'll just be on, they'll try and turn you around and stuff like that. And we saw that in the game we played up there. So that's going to be interesting. Like we said, we just hope everyone comes back and comes back in good shape after the nationals. And you kind of hope that, does Tommy Tuchel need to play Declan Rice and Bukayo Saka for 90 minutes or 80 minutes in those games that they've got? They don't, but he probably will. But you just kind of think common sense will come into it, and
I think so. I think in what international managers generally have to look at as well, and regardless upon what they generally think upon what they are looking for their own interests. Their own interest is not until the summer. Then the fact is that you go to games anyway to watch players play. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you don't necessarily need to see them playing in an England shirt in meaningless games when you know what they're going to be capable of, and particularly when they're going to be playing, as we said, playing there virtually every 3 days. You're going to probably you can go out and watch them play. Yeah. You don't necessarily need to be putting them in a game situation at this moment. There are going to be other friendlies before the World Cup as well, to be honest with you. So to me, I think he will be, if he gives an hour to Declan over the 2 games, potentially, and the same for Bukayo, I think that's sensible, to be honest. Anything more than that, I think, is reckless. And that would be something I think Arteta should have a conversation with Tuchel about before he leaves, because just load. You just got to think of the load at the end of the day.
Yeah, I can imagine he would, because he's been in that boat before, and must be aware of look at what we've got at stake. You can't you really need to play these guys and stuff. So
and he's a former club manager himself. He would he's got to understand the situation in that. So let's be sensible about it.
Let's hope so. Just going into the Champions League, obviously the other results tonight: Paris, PSG smoked Chelsea. Totally disrespecting the ball, let's say, in terms of putting 3 goals past Chelsea. So with all their nonsense, I wonder if they did the huddle tonight. I don't know. Obviously, didn't work again. So I wonder if they're going to get the picture and decide not to do something so ridiculous. So obviously, that's right tomorrow. Madrid beat Man City. Obviously, and then you've got Bayern Munich playing Atalanta. That's 6-1 first leg, so that's done. Newcastle Barcelona is going to be interesting because that's obviously still up in the air. Yeah. You imagine Newcastle might have some joy getting in. I can imagine Gordon and Ilanga and that. I think they'll score a couple tomorrow. I think Barcelona might be in a bit of trouble there. It's got a funny feeling Newcastle might do something, and obviously. Top Spur against Atletico. Let's see what happens there. I'm sure Atletico should have enough. They'll probably give them a little bit of a glimpse to get back in, but I think they should have too much. But it's going to be interesting, man, because obviously Sporting, like I said, with the Gyökeres backstory, him going back there and the way that the chairman and them acted and made him sweat for the move. What he did in Portugal, obviously he's been battering not only opposition defenders, but obviously his own defenders. I'm sure they've been training, I'm sure he's absolutely causing nightmares and stuff. So he's going to be going back there a bit more, maybe you could say a bit more rounded or better player than he left, because obviously he's been within us. So I'm sure he's going to want to show out. So hopefully, he will get a few opportunities. Because obviously the way they defend there is not as strong as maybe what Leverkusen did tonight. Because I thought fair play to Leverkusen, they kept us honest. I think is the key word. They kept us honest. We made sure to not do anything stupid and take liberties. Just happy to get through, because that the Danish manager, he's a good manager, and I just had a thought he might have had a number tonight a little bit, but no, we did what we had to do, and we're through to the quarterfinals again. So that's three times in a row we've managed to do that since we've got back into the competition. So let's hope we can go at least 2 steps further and then go all the way this time round. So obviously the build up now, Bri, is for the final against Man City, or wounded Man City. But we will obviously going to have a preview about that tomorrow, so we won't talk about it that much. But just go back to Saturday, just so we can talk about what happened on Saturday, because we didn't do a show. Just to say, giving our wishes, best wishes to Steve, and I hope he's all right, because we were supposed to do a show, but he had a bereavement in the family, so just hope that he's okay, and hopefully he'll be back on here soon. So I'm sure you pass all the best wishes for everyone involved in the show, and I hope he's all right. Reach out to him. You've had a while. I'm sure you've consumed as much content as I have, and walking around with a springier step and everything. But just what's your thoughts on what occurred on Saturday and the fallout, and the stuff that's come out with Dowman and coming to England, playing for England and being selected, nonsense really. But what's your thoughts on just how everything kind of transpired and where it leaves us in the league as well?
Yeah, look, I think it was an expected game, to be honest with you, because we know what David Moyes is like. He's going to go there, and you've got to say fair play to Everton in some respects, because they created chances. They didn't just go there and sat there. They did create a chance, and they did cause us some problems. Absolutely. What I think it showed from ourselves more than anything is that, look, if you want to win championships, you have to basically sometimes throw the dice a little bit, and I think we did. By putting Max on, we threw the dice. As much it was quite heavily on his shoulders in some respects, in a game like you would never necessarily have thought we'll put Max Dowman on in a game against Everton. It's one of those ones where he's not going to probably get the time, space. He'll probably get clattered. It will be, they will, they'll mark him out of a game basically in that sense. But when it came down to it, I think the manager's got to take a lot of praise with regarding to the timing of the changes and who he changed, as in the personnel. And when you think when you look at the substitution of Zubamendi for Dowman, you think to yourself, that's just, you look at that one and you're thinking, oh, hello. But, it was quite inspired in that sense, because it was kind of probably the creativity that we were probably lacking in that aspect. And when you look at the kind of how the course of the game was generally going, it was always going to be going into the depths of the last 5 or 10 minutes, where an opportunity would arise, and subsequently it did, and obviously it came from Max in that sense. So look, I always knew it was going to be a tough game, and I think we're not deluded Arsenal fans here in any shape or form. If we were thinking that we were going to go and beat Everton 3-4, in this stage of the season, and on the kind of form that they're generally in as well, I think we've got to have our heads read a little bit. It's always going to be a tough game, but the most important thing is that we came out the other side with 3 points, and the introduction. It's actually now the introduction of Max Dowman.
Yeah, proper. He's landed. He's done something which, getting the record. The Premier League record, the youngest obviously goal scorer, not the league record, which was Jason Dezelle as well. I think he did that one, was playing for Ipswich, but the Premier League record, obviously beating James Vaughan, I think it was for was it Everton? Was it Everton? Yeah. And obviously so amazing moment for him and his family as well, and just made up for him and the team, because obviously they put such a massive effort in there, and everyone seemed to be in the same, pushing in the same position. Obviously with Arteta, you could see him on the touchline, and the fans as well in the stadium. They put a stake with the players, and that kind of went over to tonight, where you could hear the Arsenal fans. When Leverkusen were building a little bit of momentum in the middle of the second half, that you could see that the fans were, because they realise where we are, Bright. They realise where we are, and what we're doing. What we're standing, and doing something quite historic. Obviously, Neil, has talked about this.
Neil's championed this for a couple of years, isn't he?
Because I've known him. He's manifesting, this quad. So, if he does it, I think he should just, like I said, he should just quit and take up support his local Tenpin bowling team or something like that. Because what's the point? He's manifested it. He's clocked football supporting. If your team's won everything there is to win, and maybe your biggest rivals can get relegated, then what is there? It's not, it doesn't get better than that, does it? So I think that says it for all of us as well. But we're on the verge of something. The stars are aligning. It all seems to be going our way. But obviously, Sunday is the big test, obviously, because that's where something will be decided in terms of this whole, quest for a trophy. I saw Sky today put up a graphic of Arsenal, 2,000 and something days without a trophy. So it's like, because everyone's on a bit of a hype, gas, because of obviously what moved down and us being 9 points there. They're still doing a little, low blow by putting up that number and saying, it wasn't there all season long until now. They just put up that little, you've gone 2,000 and something days without a trophy, and it's just, that's just, we're just so used to it now. We won't even talk about what that John Obi Mikel said, and because he's done that because he wants to get attention. I can't believe someone would be that stupid to say stuff like that. And he's just doing it to get engagement, to get people to listen to his crap podcast. I've come across a couple of clips online, and all he does is he talks about Arsenal in a derogatory way, and he knows why, and a lot of the content creators know why, because it gets them traffic. These watch-alongs and stuff like that. They just forget about their own team, but they just want to, have a go at us and everything, and so it's going to be amazing if we can just get a couple of trophies over the line, because it would just keep a lot of people quiet, and it would be deserved. Neil was saying Sunday is hugely pivotal. I believe it's one of the most important games for us in years because of the context we can lead to. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. We'll talk about that more. Neil will be on the show tomorrow for the previous show, so looking forward to that. We've got some bits and pieces, and we'll go through some information, predicted lineup stuff with James as well, and just throw a couple of questions and just chew the fat. And it'd be good to talk on it off the back of what we've seen tonight, which is another professional job, good performance from everybody. People called it up, when called up to do a job or do something, they've done it. David Reyes, amazing save, at the end. Declan Rice coming up, with a goal. Eze doing what he's doing. Saliba and Gabriel, they seem like they got a bit surprised by that young striker, and it looked like they did their homework, and then they dealt with him tonight. They proper dealt with him, both of them. I know he had that chance which Raya saved, but compared to the problems he was causing those two in the first leg, it was night and day. So it was a really good all-round performance from most of the players. We just need one or two, Saka, Trossard, just to up it a little bit, in terms of their output. A lot of things were falling down with them, I found. A lot of opportunities and stuff. So we just need those two to up the levels a bit, and we should be absolutely fine. And before we go, Neil say, believe, keep the faith and dream in red and white. Yeah. Neil's buzzing, and he's got every right to be.
You know what, Mike? It's funny because I've been, other than a few, the WhatsApp groups and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I've been very, very kind of reserved, very conservative, very quiet. Because I just, we've always, over the last sort of 2, 3 seasons, we've always, as fans, we've probably been screaming at situations and how we've let things slip and so on, and is it going to continue to go on? I think what we have noticed more than anything else is that our recruitment has obviously been way better.
yeah,
Okay, we've looked at, you know, being in 4 competitions, we need to have two squads, basically, 2 teams effectively.
yeah,
Okay, and now we're reaping the benefits of that. But the other side of it, more than anything else, is Mike, is you're seeing a mentality shift.
yeah,
It's a mentality shift. We've got a mixture of players that are hurting for the last couple of seasons that missed out. You've got players who are coming to the side basically, or coming to a team who don't have those emotional scars, but
yeah,
knowing that they've come into a club that the fact that knows it should be winning things and are
yeah,
capable of winning things.
yeah,
Okay, and then you've got players in there that have won things.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Rather,
yeah,
if it's a Conference League or if it's an FA Cup,
yeah,
whatever, you've
yeah,
now got people that have tasted of winning things, and that's
yeah,
a good mixture to have
yeah,
in that squad at this moment in time, because then it means everybody's going to be kind of fighting towards the goals of winning, either winning more trophies and wanting to get overcome those particular scars that they've had previously as well. And then, particularly the new players coming in, they've come in first season and won something. You've got
yeah,
that nice little mixture.
yeah, 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 100%. Yeah, because you obviously got in Capier. Obviously, he did the double, didn't he? He went invincible with Leverkusen a
Yeah,
couple of years ago, and you had Jokeres obviously winning the the Portuguese league 2 seasons in a row, I think it was, and obviously
mm,
everything that he's done as well. So yeah, you're absolutely right. Obviously, right with the Conference League. So yeah, you're absolutely right. Great mixture, great squad building, and we're seeing the fruits of it. And just got to hope that we can, so, like I said, as Neil said, Sunday is going to be really, really special. It's a really important game for us in terms of way it sets up, and we won't go into it too much, but I think either way it lands, I think we'll be fine in terms of it. I think there's going to be positives the way which way it works out, but we'll go into that a bit more. Uh, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yes, Neil. I've kind of kept this smile back until basically it's mathematically there.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm the same. Everyone's saying, "Oh, he's done this." And no, it's not. But, this is. I just wanted to lead like this when we go up there. Obviously, we've got the Bournemouth game in the league before we go there, isn't it? We've got Bournemouth, and then we've got City away. So I just wanted to go there with at least a 9-point lead. I think they've got Chelsea, haven't they? We've got
Yeah,
Bournemouth. So
and it depends upon which Chelsea turns up.
yeah, yeah. Because I think now that they're out of the Champions League, they're going to have to make sure they get to the Champions, qualify for it, and that's through the league. And I can see them taking points from City. I just, I just, just thinking too far ahead. But if we, I think it's going to be a bit of a dogfight with Bournemouth. I think it's going to be a bit
Yeah,
of a basketball game with them, and it's going to be like, like that. I just think if we do what we need to do, you get a 12-point lead. If you win that game, and then they've got to play Chelsea later on. And if you go into the Etihad with a 10 or 12-point lead, I mean,
yeah,
that's massive. And yes, they've got the game in hand, and they obviously can fit it in now during probably the Champions League week, which would
yeah.
have been a final week now.
Mm,
So they could probably fit it in there. So actually, could they fit it in there? Yeah, because then that will be before. They probably will fit it in before they play us.
yeah,
So they could win. They could get back 3 points, sort of thing. So it's going to be interesting to see
But even the Palace game, the Palace game that they have themselves, is not a gimme.
Yeah, it's not. No, it's not at all. It's not at all. So, but I'm thinking now, because they've got that window now, they will make sure that they play that game before they play us. So they cut back that lead in whatever way they can. So that's why we have to go there and maintain this, maintain this lead. If whether it's 9 or whether it's 6 points, if they win, we just need to make sure we handle our business. But yeah, interesting stuff to talk about, and we'll talk about a little bit more with our preview tomorrow. We've only lost 3 games this season, all competition, and Neil, I think our toughest game, Bar City's West Ham. Yeah, because by then West Ham probably might need a point or something to stay up, or might need all 3, depending on how things work out. So yeah, that's going to be a tough game. But we've kind of had their number for the last couple of seasons, because if they have to come out and win, then that should give us some joy as well. The other side, so we'll see. But no, thanks, Brian. Thanks so much for your time tonight. Thanks to everyone watching. Thanks for the comments as well, Neil. Thank you so much for watching as well. We'll be back tomorrow with a cup final preview, big one, and looking forward to that. So thank you, Brian. Love to the family. Thank you for all the likes and just the new subscribers we've had. We really appreciate it. And we're just going to keep trying to put out good content for you guys. Steve's been on at me to try and do some shorts AI stuff, so getting to get up. But when you've got these 3 lunatics who are sleeping upstairs, it's hard to do that. I do have a day job. But thanks very much, and we'll be back tomorrow with the cup final preview. All the best, though. Come on, you Reds.